welcome back to Paperclip Wine Time.
Woo!
Yeah, I don't think we were ever gonna get rid of that.
I can't. I know I can't. I started from the beginning. I can't stop now. It's
just,
part of the show now.
It's there.
It has to be.
I think the intro. How weird it might feel.
I think the intro would be definitely missing something if we didn't do that. Woo! I don't know why I came up like.
I think you just wanted to do the spirit fingers.
Maybe I do. Spirit fingers.
All right, so.
Oh yeah, last week's. Oh, you had.
I could not finish it.
You had clumps of wine. Like it was thick on top.
Yes.
Like, it was so weird. So you are kind of traumatized, and I understand.
Yes. So I brought it back to light colored wine.
We were doing red for a while too.
Well, since before Halloween. So today I chose the Bay Bridge Vineyards Moscato. You know, go to my safety spot. Yes, I need a safety spot. This was actually purchased at Smith's. If you're in California or one of those other places, it's either Kroger's or Ralph's for you guys. But Bay Bridge Vineyards Moscato. And this one right now at Smith's is at a super steal price.
What is it?
$2.99.
Wow.
So I got 2 bottles.
Of course you did.
I got Moscato and I got the pink Zinfandel or white Zinfandel, one of those.
I love the pink.
Yeah, so I was like, yeah.
We didn't do my sound.
Oh, sorry. This one didn't do it. It was quiet because it's $2.99. Mira.
Tú la que estás a quedar aquí.
Hey, you're the one that's crying about it. You guys saw that? You guys saw that? She thinks she's trying to be slick.
Magic.
It's okay. I'm not gonna complain. It's Moscato.
Exactly.
All right.
I'm not a big Moscato person. That's why.
What are you talking about? We've been doing Moscato forever. We love Moscato.
No, we have not been doing Moscato forever.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to you guys.
Look.
Yeah. That's much better than what I had last week.
Oh my god, look.
It's the chills.
It's the sweetness but at the end that slight
sweetness. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like because I don't drink like fruity drinks or like sweet stuff like that.
Fruity.
Because I am sweet,
fruity,
sweet, and sour. Just don't piss me off because I'll end up sour. I'm like a Sour Patch Kid. I like those commercials for that same reason because I feel at one with a Sour Patch. I can be sweet.
Or you can be sour.
I can be sour then sweet.
I don't get it, but okay.
If you see the commercial, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Whatever. Moving on.
I don't know. I felt like you had to do like that. You know, like those extra, you know, about it. Yeah, moving on.
You sound like you work at a train station.
No. Choo-choo.
No, that's a choo-choo. The moving on, girl. Solo porque está enseñando chichi y él las quiere estar moviendo todo por todos lados.
It's because I feel so sexy today, you know. With my leather.
You look, no, it's vegan leather.
Por eso dije pleather.
No, se dice vegan leather.
Oh, okay.
No te hagas de las nacas de abajo, tú eres nacas de arriba. So
yeah,
tú eres vegan leather.
Porque de abajo I'm wearing yoga pants and chanclas.
She ain't lying, yo. I can see her toes. They're barking at me.
So today I was supposed to go get my hair cut and I was going to go get a mani-pedi just to, to treat me. But I fell asleep. And that's my least favorite part about this time of year. It gets dark so fast that I woke up at 4 in the afternoon and I was like, crap. The sun was already starting to set. I was like, seriously?
It makes you not want to leave the house by then. At that point, there's like, why go anywhere?
Exactly. And I was like, and I still had to go get wine. So I was like,
remember I told you why I hate this time of year? You want to go up to Alaska. Está loca. Ya vas a estar arriba con todos los 60 days de estar oscuro. Hell no. And what them
It's so dark.
mean bears up there? Ooh.
There's bears in Alaska?
They're the meanest ones and the biggest ones too. They're bigger than the black bears up here in California.
I've never seen a black bear. I've never seen a bear in person.
I've seen a bear.
Bears don't like me.
I think I had sex with a bear.
Well, I mean, if we're talking like that, well, yeah, I've had sex with a couple of bears. But
I'm like, I'm sure you had too.
I have.
Okay, we were supposed to be moving on.
Let's just start with the day with some good news. Some feel good news. Because, you know,
Having sex with bears does not feel good all the time.
I don't know about you, I enjoyed it.
No,
But-
I did not enjoy having sex with bears. They are too hairy for my liking.
Oh, but they can be fun because you can hold on to them in very torturing ways. Oh well, let's switch
Si
back
no
to...
quiero que me
Let's
jalen
switch
las
back to
greñas a
reality.
mí, ¿tú crees que le quiero jalar las greñas al otro de su espalda? Uy. Déjate agarro así, papi.
Yeah, but that's how así se dejan to let me wax their back. Incentives, baby. Incentives.
Oh, God.
Like, oh, you don't want me to pull your back hair? Let me wax it. Okay.
Yeah, no se quedan, no les queda de otra by that point. Okay, moving on from the bears and sex with
Let's
bears.
start with some good news. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving.
Yes,
I gained a few pounds.
I overate.
What's new?
I know, like, seems like every other week, Eileen. I know. Point is, it was a very good Thanksgiving.
And we hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving too. And if you started gaining the weight, don't try losing it right now because the holidays are just starting.
Tamales,
Oh.
atol de lote.
Champurrado.
Ooh, just anything.
Anything. Pastries like the hoo-ha.
Oh no, I'm not a pastry person, for sure.
This is
Those
the
are
season where
cool, yeah.
everyone starts making the homemade cookies that I'm always going to eat. And the pastries and the pie and the...
Well, keep it with the tradition, not the tradition, the week of Thanksgiving. We do have a couple of feel-good stories
In that topic.
in that topic, exactly. First one, it's my queen.
Everyone's queen.
No, she's my queen. Her name, Miss Dolly Parton, actually is in the news currently because as of last week, she actually donated $1 million to come up with a vaccine for COVID. And it's getting really close. I think they're up about 95% to the one that she donated money. And she actually started a fund, organization, what is it called? Nonprofit for, I think it's called like COVID Relief Fund or something like that. That she actually started to make sure to put that money in to go towards vaccines. And so thanks to her, I'm sure there's other people that have donated out there, but she's actually in the front lines. And I know that she gave an interview regarding it, saying that, you know, God must have, like, given her not to have children for a reason, and this might be so she can take care of everybody else's children.
Yeah.
So, kudos to Miss Dolly Parton.
She's amazing. I mean,
She's a
so
go-getter.
amazing.
She's a woman. She's a woman empowerment. Like, she
it's like
is...
God put her in a small body
Oh.
because her heart is so fucking big. Like that woman is heaven in one.
Yeah, and
Like,
she is.
She's amazing.
And
I
like I
love her.
said, the higher the hair, the closer to heaven.
And she's very close to heaven.
I'm kind of close to it, but my head hurts.
Okay, mija.
That's
sure.
That's me. That means I'm not close. I'm not heaven.
No, it looks like your hair's gonna fall to hell.
Ay, qué chistosa.
Hello, we have our VIP section.
Qué
Remember?
chistosa. No, puta, yo estoy cambiando.
No friegues. Uy.
Okay, now.
I can go to church, but that don't mean I'm going to go to heaven. I go so I can feel like I might go.
Okay, we're moving on from church.
So
Talk about God.
another amazing person
Okay, now you
that
get all
makes me
giddy.
wish
Now you get all giddy.
that makes me wish that I was poor and broke and hungry. It's Brad Pitt.
Bitch is hungry.
It's Brad Pitt, because he's also been in the news because he has been the very charitable heart in LA. He's been out in downtown and areas that need
and Watts also.
And Watts, distributing food to people, you know. And despite being such a big celebrity in Hollywood, just like Miss Parton, they still make time and go out there and, you know, they help out the community as much as they can. And
I know he's been doing it all summer. And then the person who is running the program says that he does not act like a Hollywood star. He's there to work day in and day out and give him his time. So
that's beautiful.
Man, if that man couldn't be any sexier, that's just
hold on, we need a fire extinguisher.
You see the steam? Okay, that's gonna be your special effects steam.
Let's see if I can find it. It'll be fun.
But you know, I know there's a lot. I mean, we've talked about Alice Cooper. We've talked about John Bon Jovi.
I love it.
And you know, all these famous people are out there doing it for, you know, us normal folk that need help, and, you know, more kudos to them. They can do it. I mean, we will take it. It's just the kindness that they are showing gives reality that they're human beings. They're not up on pedestals, even though they make a lot more money than we do, and they're sexy.
Even though a lot of people do put them on pedestals.
A lot of people do.
I love the fact that they make it very clear, like, this is our job. You know, they love what they do. They've been blessed to have the talent and the money that they get. But the fact that they are not afraid to go out there and volunteer, because they're not even getting paid for this stuff. Like, come on,
they don't need to.
They don't need the college credits or anything like that. You know, they don't even need the recognition, but they're out there helping them.
And don't even ask for the recognition. Yeah. Like, they don't tell people to go show up with cameras. Like, I mean, I'm sure there's there's those people that do that. Like, those
I'm sure there is
D-list people and stuff. But I feel like Nicole Kidman has done a lot of relief funds and stuff like that too. Not regarding COVID, but just in general. Like, I feel like they all do their own part for their own reasons, because they feel like they've been blessed so much that they are
their way to give back.
You know, and it's just like I said, it brings them off of that pedestal that a lot of people put them on, and it makes them actual human beings. Yeah,
and I think it's beautiful, because a lot of people, when they find themselves in money, they find themselves in the best of fortunes, they forget, you know, that not everybody is born into wealth and money and luxuries. And
a lot of them weren't even in the, born with money, you know? A lot of them were just normal people. Some of them even moved from the Midwest, and, you know, and came over to the LA because they wanted to become movie stars and stuff. And they made it. I mean, they're the lucky ones that have made it so far. So kudos to them for just being there for us.
Thank you for being human kindness.
Yeah. And also entertaining us while you're at it.
Oh, yeah. So I hear you heard about a story about a teacher, was it?
A professor, yes.
A professor.
So I did see a story where a student had posted an email that his professor had sent over to all of his students from all his classes, saying that, you know, due to COVID, he understands that a lot of people are, like, either have had COVID, are in quarantine, can't go back home because, you know, their families are social distancing. So he spoke to his children, and they've decided to make extra meals for those who ask to have those extra meals, package them, and actually deliver them to their apartment or residence, wherever they may live, as long as it's a 20-mile radius.
Yeah.
Which is still a big,
distance, yeah.
Because, I mean, think about it, from, like, us to, like, IKEA is, like, 11 miles, and for me, that's a long-ass way, you know? Yeah. And it really isn't. For 20 miles, it's not a lot. But the fact that he, you know, is going out of his way.
Yeah.
He's teaching his children how to be givers. You know, and then he's like, you know, thinking of everyone else out there that are his students that he probably hasn't even talked to this semester because there hasn't been school.
Exactly.
He doesn't know them personally yet. You know, you don't get to know your professor or your student. So for him to go out of his way to make sure to make extra plates for his students to go over, you know, for them to not have that time alone or even get like a special home cooked meal. Come on now. That is big, beautiful. Big kudos to him too.
That's beautiful, especially because it's not the first time he's done it. He's done it previous years and has actually opened his home.
Oh, that was a different person. But yes,
okay.
Yeah, but it was. I mean,
yeah,
for them to even do that to like think of their students to come to their home,
yeah,
like, you know,
it's very heartwarming. So I don't know how many of these students actually received the meal, but kudos to this.
Hopefully,
professor.
you guys enjoyed it. I
Yes.
mean, everyone I think deserves a nice hot meal every day, not just on Thanksgiving. Every day, but you know, Thanksgiving is a special day.
And it's much harder right now with
COVID,
pandemic.
you know, keeping families apart and like the travel plans and all that stuff. It makes it a lot more difficult. So, I mean, just one small act of kindness changes someone's day. Imagine receiving a meal and you haven't been able to leave your apartment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
somebody reached out to me this week.
Yeah.
Oh, 2 weeks ago. A week or so ago?
No, a week ago.
A week ago.
Even I don't know.
Asking me the most interesting question.
Random. It was just,
yeah, very random.
because it wasn't like, hey, how are you? How you been? Hey, what's going on?
I need your opinion. Okay.
Okay.
So basically, what the inquiry was about was my take on the saying, after a relationship is over, why do people say love didn't win? My response, in all true honesty,
You
was,
don't have to sleep. Oh no, that was what they call. Yeah. That's right.
That's what he called. But no, my response is basically I feel that in a relationship, depending on how long it is, of course, because somebody that's been together with somebody for just a couple of months, and it's basically just sexual.
That's
chemistry.
lust.
That's lust. That's not love. And a lot of people want to call it love. They want to romanticize everything. In my opinion.
In your opinion, yeah.
In my opinion.
I can say the same because
yes.
I've been slapped by Cupid within a month of dating someone. So, and I'm still married with him. So there you go.
Yeah, but you know.
It's rare.
It's rare. Not everyone is as lucky as you are, girl. Mm-hmm. But yes, you know, in my opinion, and like I explained to him, a lot of relationships just go from one moment to another, and they are just taken over by lust, and everyone wants to romanticize a relationship and call it love, when in reality you really don't know love, because in my opinion, love is something that happens throughout the process of getting to know each other, spending time, quality time, not sexual time. Although the sexual ain't bad, but
it's two. It takes two.
It takes two. But you know, love in my opinion forms through communication, arguments, learning how to resolve conflicts together as a couple. Mm-hmm. But when you're in a relationship for 2 months and it's been hunky-dory, and all of a sudden this other person realizes, you know what, you're not what I wanted, and they break up, that's not love losing. Mm-hmm. It's not like, oh, love lost, love didn't win this time. No, there was no love. It was all, like you said, you know, that it's heat of the passion and sexual.
It's lust at that moment.
It's lust.
I feel, to be honest with you, I think I would have agreed with you before I met Bob with that same idea. Mm-hmm. That because, you know, I look at I after being out of the relationship with Bella's dad, I obviously looked back at it, and I felt like I was in lust with him. Like I was kind of obsessed with him. Like I wanted to be with him all the time. And I feel like, you know, like you said, with time and, you know, us getting to know each other, because obviously we moved in together pretty, like after 6 months of dating, but we weren't really like we would go on dates and stuff like that, but I feel like it wasn't deep, you know?
There was no like in-depth conversations about.
Not really. It was
stuff.
more 21. So think about it. Who's having a fucking deep ass conversation at 21? No, you weren't.
When I was 21, I was 18. 17, 18.
You see? But that was with Robert, right?
Yes.
So you wouldn't consider that lust? You see what I'm saying?
No, because Robert and I were friends before we were.
You guys, for how long were you guys friends for before you guys started dating?
About 8 to 10 months.
Okay, see that? Okay, there you go. See, for me, we weren't friends. We were just automatic. But before we started dating, I was living in the East Coast. He was living here, and we talked for 2 months straight every single day. So in my mind, I got to know him because one, it's not sexual. One is not. It was always just getting to know each other. It was always, how's your day? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, you're such a dork. I love watching this, whatever. But once I got with him in person, it definitely became more lust. And like I said, I didn't look back at that relationship after, way years after I was out of it. You know, once I had like the good amount of time single by myself. And actually after another relationship, I could say that I had love for him, for both of those guys. Actually, I had love, but I wasn't in love with them. With Bob, even though we talked for a couple of weeks before we actually went on a first date, and I felt like I wasn't falling in love with him until after a month. And actually, our love has grown a lot more, obviously, now that we're a family and we've gotten married and stuff like that. But our conversations were definitely more in depth because I was already 30 years old, 31 years old. Mm-hmm. He was 36, 37 years old. What is he? Yeah, 36 years old. Mature man, knows what he wants, knows what he's looking for, compared to a 21-year-old man or boy who doesn't know what the fuck he wants.
Yeah.
You know? And I had one foot out the door and the other before. And that's how our relationship was. Like, I found things out as we went through our relationship, and I still put those things aside because of lust. It wasn't because I was in love with him. It was because of lust. Now, if things were happening with Bob, I know it would be more of a love situation. Mm-hmm. But still, I would have agreed with you before. Now that it's happened to me with Bob, it's a lot different. Like, I never thought that I could have found literally someone who is just like me, but different in so many ways. And we literally complement each other so much that it boggles my mind that we ended up together. I mean, obviously I got pregnant, and that's when we kind of like kept it pushing.
You're like, oh, I mean, I guess we're stuck for now.
I guess, yeah, how this goes. But I mean, it like I found that I was pregnant 2 months after we were dating, and a month after we were dating, I was already like falling in love with him just because I couldn't get enough of him. He's such a and I told you. The way he talked about his parents,
yeah, that's super sweet.
That sold me on it. And then I met them in person. I told them that's when I knew I fell in love with you even more, when I found out where you came from your parents. Mm-hmm. You know, because how is it with most Latina mother-in-laws? Let's be honest, it's always like they mira mal, que you're not good enough for their son, and
you don't even know how to cook. Mira, ese arroz no se mira bien así.
Mm-hmm. Mm. So.
Mm. That is a spices. No, mija, quítate, let me cook it. Because my mijo likes my food.
Oh, yeah. That sounds like my ex-suegra too, girl. Seriously.
Yeah, that's how it is. And that's the sad thing about Hispanic parents. And I think that's why I have steered away from Hispanics now. Because I'm like, I had a wonderful husband. I've been in good relationships. I did have a very sweet mother-in-law, almost mother-in-law, once. With Jesse's mom. I think when it comes to, at least in my experience, I'm good with Hispanic mother-in-laws for now.
I didn't have.
I'm done.
I could say maybe one. It was okay, but not the way it is with Nancy.
I know, she's a sweetheart.
Like, okay, so it was my ex-husband's.
See, I wish Nancy had another son just so I can call her mom. Like, shit, I'm like, that's it.
I know. It's just, I sort of, anybody who meets my in-laws, like, they fall in love with them. Like, everyone does. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're amazing people, super nice, genuinely sweet. Always looks the good in everybody. Like, doesn't judge anyone for what they do. Gives you advice up the butt, but it's like, you know, it's coming from a good place. So it doesn't bother you. It's just, they're very wholesome people, and it's like, they don't make them like that anymore. Let's just be honest. Like,
I think in a lot of relationships, that's where love triumphs so greatly that that's why some people want to be like, love didn't win this one. Like, nah, fool, that wasn't love.
Yeah,
that was a hot coochie.
A hot coochie.
Like, that coochie was hot. It wasn't love. You know how Roxanne used to say, it must have been love, but it's over now. Yeah. It wasn't all that I wanted, or now that I'm living without. Hey, I'm happy with my Moscato this week. How you doing?
Seriously, I'm like, what? What's going on? We're talking about love? What?
Yes, because I love my Moscato more than the guys I've dated.
It's true, girl. Let's not even go there, because all I get is riled up and get all angry black woman on people, and I don't, or what's the saying? Is it the angry? The Terry, what is it? Oh my God, what is his name?
Terry Crews?
No. The director. Tyler Perry. Why is it Terry? Tyler Perry.
Oh, Diary of a Mad Black Woman?
Yeah. That movie, that was so good. Ugh, I felt her pain. I was like, girl, yes.
It was so good with Shamar Moore. I still dream.
Oh yeah, you had those massive fake braids.
I still dream with Shamar.
You had those fake braids?
Yes. The way that he proposed to her, like just putting the ring on her finger and her sleeve, I was like, "Will you do that to me?"
I know you've always been obsessed with Shamar Moore. I remember. That's the only reason you watched fucking Criminal Minds. Oh, I did like him on Criminal Minds.
Yeah, he was gangster.
He was gangster on Criminal Minds, but it's just well, Criminal Minds doesn't have like fucking Oscar award-winning fucking acting either. You know, it's like.
Hey, this Moscato is
it's
losing you,
It's loosening you up. Like, this bitch has her legs all open in my area. She's all there licking her lip.
So let me bring up that message. So
this
individual.
Yeah.
Well, I asked you this question because earlier today I was on a group text with my cousins back home, and this is what I told them. My opinion, because love was never there. Love wasn't what was driving your relationship, so that's why it failed. Love can conquer all. It really can. It has to be real. It has to be true, and people aren't operating in love. They're operating in evacuation. They are operating in fear. There are women out there that, believe it or not, as much as women say they want that great man, there's women that believe they don't deserve that great man. But they don't say that among their friends. And a lot of women feel inadequate when it comes to a great guy, which is why you see a lot of women run from a great guy and run to the wrong one and then claim it was connection. It wasn't connection. It was because you were afraid to be with the great guy because it scared you, and it made you to be vulnerable and made you also to feel like you are not at the level that would be good enough for him. But with that wrong guy, well, you feel like you're better than he is, so you feel safer there. It's like he has to appreciate being with me, whereas with the great guy, he has so many options. I can't deal with this. So there's so many other things going on behind the scenes that people are not being honest about that contributes to all these situations and why people make choices that they make. But it isn't about love and connection. It's about trust. A lot of people are not operating in love and connecting. A lot of women, intuitions tell them that if this dude wasn't it but they do it anyway.
Damn, he went in deep. But I don't like that he only was using women as an example instead of men. When you're the man, speak for yourself. Speak from your experiences.
Yes.
Don't just put it out there that women are the ones that are insecure or have trust issues or I don't know what else he said. At least use men and women. Use one example each, but don't just throw women under the bus.
Yeah,
but
my response to that one, because I do agree with you so badly on that one. So I responded, I suppose that could be a reason, depending, of course, on the person and the situation. There is women out there who analyze a relationship hoping to be wrong, but sometimes and most times are actually proven right when the person they are attracted to are apparently not in the same place.
Which is true.
Mm-hmm.
Which is true. It has nothing to do with love not winning for that relationship. It's just that relationship didn't work out. I believe that if things are meant to be, things are meant to be. Mm-hmm. Now, if I was meant to be with Bella's dad, I was meant to be with him, and I would have worked harder in our relationship, and he would have worked harder in our relationship. Yeah. But it just wasn't there. Like, we both kind of knew, I think, in a sense, that it just wasn't there. We were too young, too naive. We wanted to have the cake and eat it too, you know? And it doesn't work that way. It took me a long time to get to where I was able enough and stable enough and secure in myself enough, so he does have a point, at least for me, but that doesn't speak for all women. Mm-hmm. It's secure enough in myself where I was able to say, you know what, I am capable of loving, and I am capable of receiving love. And you know, obviously I dated a lot of doofuses in between, but then ended up with Bob, and I feel like I was already in a mental space ready to accept it, you know. But if, let's say, Bob and I relationship didn't work, I wouldn't say love failed. It's just we didn't work out. Yeah. Our love is obviously there, knock on wood, it always will be there, but it's just, you know, only because, you know, it could be finances, it could be religion, it could be something else, but it doesn't mean that love wasn't there. Love was there at some point. It's just people grow in different directions. It's a matter of growing together. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, I'd like to think that in my relationship with Robert, it's been, 18 years? I'd like to think we would still be married if he was still alive.
Yeah.
But honestly, I have no idea. Because I know we had our problems, and I have my cousin, you know, Stacy. Yeah. She's been married pretty much as long as I've been with Robert, as I would have been with Robert.
Robert, yeah.
I think she and Eric got together the year after Robert and I did. Uh-huh. So we were pretty much around the same place. And I know that they've gone through their issues, but look at them, they've gone through it. And, you know,
they flourished.
They became strong as a couple, as a unit, as a family. And I'd like to think that if Robert was alive, I would probably be in the same place.
But you never know. You never know. You never know. I mean, because, like I said, Bob and I could be speaking fucking, like, amazingly about our relationship, but I don't know how, I mean, I know how he feels. Like, obviously, he's in love with all of this, you know. But, you know, we don't know what could happen in 5 years that could, like, make us or break us at that point. It could be a loss of a child. It could be the loss of a home. It could be drinking. It could be drugs. It could be so many different things that could end our relationship. It's a matter of us if we're going to survive it or not, you know. Yeah. And we have to be able to grow together as a couple, not just as people, but as a couple, to be able to say, hey, we will conquer this bitch and we will survive and come out behind it and then keep moving on and grow old together. Mm-hmm. So you just never know.
Yeah, no, you don't. And one thing that I actually went right now that you said that, at least the way I see it, maybe because I've been single for so long. You say, you know, you have to grow as a couple. But I also feel that as you're growing as a couple, you do also have to learn how to grow as individuals.
Oh, that's what I said. I said you have to grow together, but you know, as you're growing separate, you have to grow together.
Yeah.
Like there has to be a balance of like me growing as Eileen and becoming a better self, better mother, better loving myself better, like all this stuff. But I have to work on my relationship also. I can't just be all selfish and be, or the opposite and be all your relationship, because then you lose yourself. Like,
I think a lot of people do that.
A lot more people end up losing themselves in their relationship because they get so infatuated with the fact of, oh, I have my husband. Oh, we're our little family. We're trying to paint this picture perfect family, and then guess what? Like, shit hits the fan. Well,
you don't know who you are anymore.
And what happens when you've lost that person or whatever? Then you have to figure out yourself all over again. Like, you have to be able to trail on your own and in a relationship.
Yeah, and I mean that's obviously a little extra real on my end, because I was growing with Robert as a couple, and it was a beautiful growth.
Yeah.
Despite our constant fights, because we were kids.
Yeah, you guys were young.
We were kids, So of course I was like, I want to drink, but you can't drink, and I want to have a car, but you can't drive it. I was being petty, and I can take my responsibility on that.
Yeah.
But I know that at the end, at least the last few months of our life history together, I was growing with him as a couple, but I was forgetting who I was as an individual. So that when he passed away, I didn't know what to do with my life.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what? But I was still trying to wake up to take him to work.
Yeah.
And I was still trying to be at home before he had, it's like I was still in that state of
couple
mind.
Relationship, that couple state of mind,
And I was like, well, what do I do with my life now that I don't have to take him to soccer? What do I have to do with my life now that I don't have to do this for him? Or that we're not going to do this together? So I grew as a couple. I didn't grow as an individual, which is what I've been working on right now in the last few years on my own. Like, what am I going to do for me?
Yeah.
Because I have to.
Yeah.
When I did try getting into a relationship recently, I was concentrating on still working on me, but giving the couple version of me a little bit of help, but the other person wasn't helping, so
that's why it fell apart. Yeah.
It's like, instead of growing together, we were growing together, but there was still that gap right there.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, let me
it's like this. It's like this. You're growing separate but relationship. Separate but relationship. Separate relationship. And it sucks when you're going relationship and they're still growing separate, and then, you're going into relationship and they're not. Like, but this is what I don't understand about guys. Why are you gonna sit there, go on an app and look for a relationship, follow this girl, do stuff for this girl, and yet not follow through as, okay, let's hang out, let's see each other, let's be productive with each other so that we can grow, because I'm serious, I want a relationship. There's a lot of guys out there who say, I want a relationship, I'm ready to settle down, but yet they're not throwing those cards out that they want to settle down.
Exactly.
Because I know I had another friend who met a couple of guys, who said they were ready to get in a relationship, and then out of nowhere they're like, oh my God, no, I can't right now, or they'll back up or just become straight assholes to push the girl away. Mine being, if their goal was to get in her pants, they didn't get in her pants, because that's not the type of girl she is. So what was your fucking goal? Are you giving yourself a timeline of talking to a woman, and if she doesn't give it to you by that timeline, then you're out? Why play games? And the crazy part is, this friend, she's very honest from the beginning. If you're married, let me know. If you're dating someone, let me know. If you want it to be sexual and that's it, I'm okay with it. If it's good. If it's not good, then I'm bouncing. She is straight up honest with them completely and says, when you're feeling like you want to get out of it, let me know. Just speak up,
Yeah.
They never speak up.
Yeah, they become little bitches. And that is where they mess up, but a lot of men don't know how to admit to that. Because, hey, I'm a woman. I'm a help sometimes. I can be a help. But I can also be a good friend. I can also be a good partner. I can also be... So, yeah, there's guys out there that like you said, they say, I want a relationship. I want to settle down. I want to find the right person. And there has been individuals that will be, they meet up. They're like, I want a relationship. I want to be with you, blah, blah, blah. But then they try to have this relationship where I'll see you every 1 or 2 weeks, whenever it's convenient for me.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not the type of person that is okay with being the beck and call girl.
Oh, no.
I'm like, no. If you're going to be in a relationship with me, it needs to be just as well as when you need to see me as it is when I need to see you. Because if I have a guy and this person wants to spend so much time with me or whatever, I get it. I have a busy schedule. I have a life.
Uh-huh.
I have work. I have the podcast. I have editing. I have a couple of days off in the week. I am down. Like, I have plenty of days off to where we can hang out. And I was like, my schedule. You can always make a plan ahead of time and whatnot.
What I didn't like it was making a plan and then not following through.
It. Yes. That was my biggest pet peeve there. Because I was like,
don't make plans, guys or girls, if you can't do it. You might think it'll be okay. I'm not dating this person. But if you're trying to court someone, why the fuck would you make plans and then fucking back out last minute or keep you in a limbo and not respond at all?
I'm like, okay, so that's the biggest problem in my situation because it was like, I understand shit happens. I get it. I'm an adult, Sometimes I can make plans with, say, one of my friends. Say I'll make a plan with Karen, for example.
Uh-huh.
And something comes up, and I'm like, okay, you know what? I have one of those days where I really don't want to get out of the house.
We all have those days. I mean, we're homebodies sometimes. And then sometimes get us de pata de chucho all day.
Yeah, it's like, I have my days where I don't want to leave the house. I'm like, I don't even want to bother taking off my pajamas.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have anybody come over. I want to do absolutely nothing but watch Ghost Adventures or Ghost Hunters International on a loop while I'm laying down in my bed doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
That's all I want to do. So I have those days. But when that happens, I want to make sure I'm the one calling the person and being like, hey, you know what? I'm going to have to cancel today's plans for A or B reason.
Yeah.
Or at least give them a heads up. If not a couple of hours before, like the day before, where I already know, like, this is
I'm not feeling it. Yeah.
But when you make a plan, you're like, oh yeah, let's go, I don't know, whatever. Let's go catch a movie.
Yeah.
The movie's at 4 o'clock. I'll pick you up at 3. And 4:30 comes around and you still haven't even called to be like, oh, hey, you know what? I'm so sorry I fell asleep, whatever.
Whatever the excuse is.
Yes, like, call. I can't stand that. So that's where that relationship
when I would tell Bob about like your situation or whatever, was happening, he would always say the same shit. He would say, I knew that I was ready to date, so that's the reason I went on POF.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to that, I wasn't on it. There was no need for me to be on it because I was not ready to date anyone.
Yeah.
Once I got ready, I went on it. I went on a few dates. Most of them were misses. And then when you and I started talking, like, he said that he felt the immediate attraction. Like that, right? First seeing my pictures, and then when we talked for the first time, he already knew, he said. But then he said, obviously, as time went by, the more that him and I talked, and after our first date, he's a truck driver, so he was able to, get away sometimes. Not be on the phone, but just get away sometimes. He went out of his way to meet me at my job for lunch. At least once a week. If it wasn't, 2 to 3 times a week. He would go to LAX, he works, his office was in Carson, so he was in the Gardena general area. Excuse me. And he would go out of his way to make sure that, we had lunch together. He only gets a half an hour lunch. I would get an hour, but he will make sure to meet me for pho right across the street from my branch or whatever. And then my branch obviously knew that I was getting into a serious relationship. They would make sure to schedule my lunch whenever he would or someone else would switch their lunch because they knew okay, obviously you guys are going somewhere. This is like important for you. We will work with you, you know? But when I would tell him your situation, he's like, I knew I wanted to date you. I knew that I wanted to see you. So I made sure that I went out of my way to make it easy for you for me to see you. Mm-hmm. So why would someone sit there and tell her they want to date, but then not go out of their way to see her only when it's convenient for them, or make plans and then not fucking bother like messaging or saying anything at all? Mm-hmm. Like, he's like, I made plans knowing the fact that I'm gonna go through with my plans because I couldn't wait to see you.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, and that's true. And I mean, and that brings me back to Alex. Because even though we were not officially a relationship of a couple or anything like that, you saw, you know, when we started hanging out, he used to live near the branch where we used to work out. But if he didn't have his car with him because his mom took it or whatever, he would walk from his house to the branch to pick me up just so we can go eat across the street at the diner. Yeah. You know, and even after dinner, after having dinner, if he still didn't have a car, he would take the bus with me, drop me off at home, and then take the bus back so he can go to work. Yeah. So I'm like, dude, that was more dedication in a friend from a friend than I did with somebody that said he wanted to be with me. Yeah. And I'm like, when I saw that, I was kind of like, dude, this isn't gonna work out because I don't need somebody to spend all of their time with me, but I want to see some type of effort. Exactly. Like,
if there's no effort, then like, what is the point?
Yeah, and I mean, and I told you about this one this week. You know, I was like, I just had that feeling. I was like, dude, someone's gonna try to call me, and exactly a couple of hours later, like, oh hey, this message comes through, and I was like, why? Yeah. You know, even when he called, and I was half asleep, I was like, hello. Because I'm not the person that's gonna be like, fuck you, you know? I know. I was like, I answered it. I answered the phone.
Especially not sleeping.
And I gave him like 2 minutes, and I was like, all right, I'm sleepy, bye. Yeah. I'm like, but it kind of gets to me because I'm like, I get it. At one point, he said he wanted to be with me. Why are you insisting now that I already ended it? Yeah. Like, especially for somebody that
his ego probably got hurt.
Right. Especially from somebody that said a couple of times, actually, that he never, after a relationship is over, like, it's over. It's over. He's not going to look for them.
There's no going back.
Yeah. He's like, I don't look for them. I don't even answer the calls, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Okay. I haven't called and I haven't texted, but okay. Yeah. You know? Yeah. Not to give myself credit because, you know, I'm perfect, but... Here you go. But, you know, it kind of gets to me. I think now, ages later, that Alex was maybe one of those situations where you can, to an extent, say that love didn't win. Because there was love, but it wasn't the right kind of love.
It was. You're right. It was love. It
wasn't
wasn't man woman in a relationship love.
That was more friend, partner in crime, confidant. Yeah. And I'm okay with it. Obviously, unfortunately, I did lose my best friend, that confidant, the support system that I had with him. But I am glad that he is living a good life. Yeah. He has a good wife. He has a beautiful child, and I'm happy for him. Yeah. And hopefully one day I'll have the same thing. Yeah. You know, but until then,
she gonna be a hoe.
I gonna be a hoe.
She ready.
With my Moscato.
She ready.
I'm ready. I just need to find a guy that's actually ready.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, until that guy comes, I'm just gonna be cool. Yeah. Because the guy that I was just talking to recently, you know, he's cool. He's awesome.
It's just not there.
Yeah, it's not there. I think it's there.
If it's not there, it's not there. Like, I had made the unfortunate mistake to push it to be there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
More times than none when I was trying to find someone just because I was tired of being alone. That was my mistake. But once I stopped, and I know I had stopped, I was giving everybody and anybody a chance. I'm like, why not? Like, these could be good guys. So what if he's 5'7", I'm 5'5", you know? Like, my standards, like, it wasn't.
I was about to say 5'7". Yeah, I had a guy hit me up that's 5'6". I was like, I'm sorry, Miko, you're just a
well, you're taller than I am. So
yes, I'm
different.
5'9", 5'9", 5'10".
Yeah, I'm 5'5", so 5'7" is only 2 inches taller than me. But I've always dated guys 5'9" and up. So for me, that's a big difference. So, but still, like, I wasn't like trying to put guys in a bubble and this is the only type of guys I'm going to date. I was dating people that I wouldn't normally date. I was just trying to say, hey, see what's out there. But I did give too many chances to some of them to the point where I wasn't really attracted to them at all, and I still gave them a chance. And it was just for me, like, I lost time. But once I stopped looking for that and forcing it, that's when I found one person that it was a random, like, you know, let's go to Las Vegas tonight for New Year's Eve, because we had just talked earlier in the day, and literally we hung out the whole 24 hours, drove there to Vegas with a random stranger to Vegas, came to Vegas, got super drunk, had to sleep at a random hotel, came back the next day to LA early in the crack of dawn, and then we did talk for a couple of more weeks, but I had stopped looking for it, and it came to me, but obviously he was just playing games too. But it felt more like real and alive. And then I met someone else, and then I met Bob. And it's like, okay, then, you know, I wasn't looking for it. I even told my friend, I'm done dating Brown. There is something wrong with Brown. They're all like machistas, or they're all like, you know, tienen mamitis, or they all have kids. And I'm not saying I don't have problem with people that have kids, because I had a kid when someone started dating me. My mom had a kid when my stepdad started dating her. That's not the problem. The problem is you have kids and you're still with your baby mama. You're just over here looking. No. So I said, I'm looking for yellow or for white. That's it. And I found yellow, and it was same thing. It seemed like it was real, said all the right things, and and then I found white, and I stayed with white.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I don't know. I can't wait to be done with it, you know, because I'm kind of like,
it's fun, but at the same time, it's not fun. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, it's too much effort.
And too many games being played.
Yes.
Nobody has time for that. We're in our 30s. Like.
Yeah, I mean, I think to an extent, a certain extent, with him, I would have been ready, but he wasn't ready.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to wait. I'm not waiting.
Dude, there's no time to wait.
Yeah, no.
And if you're not ready now, at freaking over 40 years old, when are you going to be ready?
Exactly.
So, move on.
Yeah.
All right,
so hopefully next year it's going to bring us more. Well, it's going to bring me better luck with that department. So we'll see how that goes.
Never know.
Hey, if love doesn't bring me a man, let it continue to bring me good wine. I like this wine, Bay Bridge Vineyards. Yo, thank you. Maybe because you guys came up after that very horrible experience I had last week.
Maybe.
But this was good.
I heard Bay Bridge somewhere else besides Bay Bridge Vineyards. Is Bay Bridge like a brand of something else?
I have no idea.
I'm going to look it up. I'll do the Google search.
We'll look it up.
We'll do the Google search, because Bay Bridge sounds like a company. Like, obviously it's a company, but like not a wine company. It sounds like a different type of company. Whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I've heard Bay Bridge is somewhere else.
Huh, interesting. Well, I enjoyed their wine. Thank you. That Moscato was delicious. And I think we're about ready to call it a night, because I think I'm tipsy enough.
You look tipsy.
I'm about to start talking shit that I probably shouldn't. Which means I already started talking shit, and I'm probably going to edit it out. Alright guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Eileen is ready to go and party her brains out in bed, I guess.
In bed, I'm the hell party. I was like, party.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you guys next week. Have a wonderful week.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Have a good night. Peace.
Peace.
Stumbled at the start line. I've done all that I can do, but I'll try again. I'll try again. Stay on the straight and narrow. We'll meet up at the end. Cramped up on the inside at the thought of losing you, but I'll try again. I'll try again. Stay on the straight and narrow. We'll meet up at the end.